So I told your father I'd always look out for you.
How? He died suddenly in a fire. Did you ask his ghost?
That's not witty, Scott.
On today's episode, we discussed the new movie, The King of Staten Island, featuring Pete Davidson and Bill Burr. He's Jay.
I am.
I'm Alan. That's Ben.
Three bros with three opinions, all about movies.
This is Move Jabs.
Lego.
Okay, this movie came highly recommended by the two of you to me. I watched it last night before shooting this, and
It's good.
definitely enjoyed the comedy, but I
Very
can't say that I
good.
liked the movie completely.
Oh my god.
But let's talk about
Well,
it. What's
that's
it
an
about?
issue.
Well, what's it about?
So this movie stars Pete Davidson, who actually wrote the movie. And it's a semi-autobiographical about his life where he loses his dad when he was 7 years old in 9/11. And he kind of goes through depression, drug use, and kind of honestly being a loser.
Right.
And then it's kind of like his mom has to kick him out, kind of give him tough love, and it kind of goes through the whole phase of him growing up and kind of you see him mature as an adult.
Yeah, it's his life trying to find himself.
Perfect.
So essentially,
I was getting there, but well.
Yeah,
it's a coming of age.
I'll sum it up for you.
Oh, even better, coming of age. I agree
it's
with
a
him.
kind-
I don't like how that sounds. I like exactly how I said it. So
Yeah,
let's
okay.
cut
Well,
that
it's coming
part
of
out
age.
and just leave it what I
But
said.
the thing is, the main crux of this movie is Pete Davidson's dad was a firefighter, died in a fire.
I like your tattoos. What are those numbers on your arm?
Oh, that's the date my dad died. He was a fireman. Died in a fire 17 years ago.
I think they said it was in an apartment building in the movie. And
Yep.
why it's semi-autobiographical is because in real life, Pete Davidson's dad was a firefighter who died in 9/11.
Yes.
Nothing but respect for the guy, nothing but respect for Pete
New York
Davidson,
City.
because that's amazing. That's a huge sacrifice for both of them. But this movie ties it in because later in the movie, when it finally picks up, he meets Bill Burr.
Sorry I embarrassed you in front of your friends.
One of your favorite guys, but Bill Burr in this movie is also a firefighter.
Yes.
And let's get into why that becomes an issue.
Well, so in the scene where Davidson meets Bill Burr, well, 15 minutes prior to that, Davidson's in a park with like his boys, and Davidson's also an aspiring tattoo artist, which he does
It's not a good one.
terrible
Not a good tattoo artist.
terrible tattoos. Basically, this kid walks up. He's like 9 years old. I can't get the eyes right. And this kid walks up and does Davidson does terrible tattoos. His kid walks up.
And he's like 9.
And then
right?
he's 9. And then he's like,
I thought he was like 6, by the way.
Davidson goes, do you want a
That's how
tattoo? The
young he
kid's
looks.
like, yeah, I want a tattoo. So he rolls his arm up for Davidson to tattoo him. And he does like one little line, and the kid ends up running off back home. And obviously ends up being Bill Burr's son, we find out like 50 minutes later. And basically Bill Burr goes to Davidson's home, and then he starts yelling at him, but all of a sudden he forms a connection with his mom, and he goes back and asks his mom out. And the whole movie is basically Bill Burr ends up being like Davidson's father figure.
Right.
Because throughout the movie, Davidson has struggles, and Bill Burr kind of pushes him with tough love in a direction that he should be pushed in. And then when his mom kicks him out, Davidson messes up the relationship with his girlfriend at the time. And also...
He screws up every relationship
Yeah.
he has.
Yes.
You're right. Bill Burr tries to give him a little bit of structure that he knows that he's missing.
That he's
Yes.
never had.
and they kind of, that he hasn't
and they
had
butt
since he was a
heads.
kid.
He
And,
kind of gives him responsibilities, like
Right.
walking his kids to school.
right, and they butt heads because of that. But-
Davidson pushes back. Finally, his mom kicks him out.
Mm-hmm.
After he gets kicked out, he's struggling to find himself even more. Goes around trying to stay at everybody's house.
Mm-hmm.
He had one of his best friends who got locked up for some stupid stuff where Davidson is the reason why he got locked up.
Yep.
He tries to stay at his house. The kid gets mad at him because he went all the way to prison to ask him. And then he goes and tries to ask his girlfriend, screws that up, and finally finds his way back
So,
to Bill
but
Burr.
at the end of the day, when he's literally homeless and he has no other option, he goes and stays with Bill Burr in his firehouse.
Right.
So I just shows kind of say, hey, it's like I'm coming to you with like my tail between my legs. Like I need help. You're my last resort type of thing.
Right.
So also I would say it was big on Davidson's part.
You guys are making it sound super depressing and mostly
It
a
is super
drama.
depressing, but-
it's actually really funny though.
Oh,
it's
the
funny
dark
the
humor.
whole way through. Of as sad as it is, it's funny along the whole.
I would say it's a
whole-
dark comedy
right.
done exactly right.
Okay,
Right.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah, it is a dark comedy done exactly right because between Bill Burr and Pete Davidson, both of them in their stand-up comedy,
Hilarious, yep.
there's nothing that's politically correct about them, which makes them hilarious.
Right.
And they carry that into this movie. It's completely not politically correct in any way whatsoever. And that is what makes the movie enjoyable because it's so funny with the jokes that they put in.
It was refreshing.
Yeah, it is refreshing because they weren't trying to stay PC. They weren't trying to, toe the line of being correct.
So even with all that, as you just said, the fact that it's a dark comedy and they toe the line, and Davidson and Burr obviously hilarious.
Ben basically says, I hate this movie because it made me laugh.
You're still not a fan?
He's like, it made me laugh. I don't like it. Laughing is not fun for me.
All he's giving is great points. It's like of why I like it. And then he comes back with, well, I like all those points, but I didn't like the movie.
I know.
Well, it's because of the way they structured the movie.
This is just why I don't like Ben.
The first 30 minutes of the movie, you had no idea what was going on.
I'll second that.
You had no idea what was going on. It took forever to get to the point.
Your point.
And that is the problem I have with this movie. It's over 2 hours long, which I don't have a problem with.
By 17 minutes.
I don't have a problem with that. But it's the fact that it took the first 30 to 40 minutes to finally get to the point to where you have a clue of what's happening.
Right. And I get that. But my point of view is I think they needed that 30 to 40 minutes to really show Pete Davidson and how he was emotionally traumatized, and he needed they needed that 30 to 40 minutes to show.
As soon as it got to the point, the movie was great.
Well, I think if you cut out, like Jay was saying, if you cut out those 30 to 40 minutes of him being a loser and kind of like finding or trying to find his ways. Exactly.
And that's not what I'm saying.
It'd be like a 15-minute clip of him being a loser and like, I suck at tattoos, I have no job, I live with my mom. Oh, here's Bill Burr, let me find my way. It wouldn't
his Pete Davidson's own sister is like graduating high school, going to college, being successful.
And she even says in the movie, like, what are you gonna say? She even says that, well, you're my older brother. You have to, like, you should watch out for me, not the other way around.
Right.
So they hit the nail on the head.
She tells him you
with
can't
all
be
that.
sad about
And
what
I'm not
happened
saying-
the rest of your life. Like
exactly.
you have to kind of.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying that
through.
they need to cut it out. I'm just saying they needed to tie the story
Sounds
in
like
faster.
I don't know. It sounds like you're saying they got to cut it out.
Yep. Sounds
No,
like.
not saying cut it out.
You didn't
Well,
like that.
Not saying cut it out. But there are some things I really appreciated the movie did. They brought Steve Buscemi in.
Oh, I have a high metabolism.
He's a big character in this. He kind of is the secondary, or I don't know, you want to say like the grandfather figure for this.
He's the captain of the firehouse.
Yeah,
correct?
so he's like the grandfather figure. Also grew up with his dad, knew his dad in the firehouse. But the great thing about it is Steve Buscemi is also a 9/11 veteran. Before he was an actor, he was a firefighter. And when 9/11 turned around, he was already successful, already hugely famous. But he gave up acting temporarily to go and help people in 9/11.
Which I respect like tremendously.
Awesome. Yeah,
Right.
That's
awesome.
Right.
That's awesome.
Right. So it's a good movie.
It's a good
I just
movie.
think it had some technical issues that if they worked on them, it could have been a great movie.
All right. What's your rating? What do you give it?
5 out of 10 jabs.
That's awful. I'm gonna go 8.
I'm gonna go 7 out of 10 jabs.
All right.
7 jabs for me.
So-
I would definitely watch it again.
Would you recommend it to someone?
Yeah, I'd recommend it for the comedy, but I wouldn't recommend it for the whole movie.
I don't know what that means.
I
All right,
don't
so,
know. I don't know what to say
like,
about that.
Like watch it for the last, but then pause it and don't watch. Like okay, so
I couldn't dislike you anymore right now.
that's an awful statement.
All right, well, let us know what you think in the comments below. If you've seen this movie, how many jabs would you give it out of 10?
If not, go watch it.
If you
Go
haven't,
watch it.
please
Watch it and then
If
come
you like
back.
to
It's a
laugh,
great movie.
if you think stuff's funny and like you enjoy laughing, then watch it. You'll enjoy it.
But let us know. All right.
We're out.
Come on, try a little. Nothing is forever. It's got to be something better than in a... You don't know who sings that though.
Taylor Swift.